Welcome to the Think Generational Wealth podcast, and this is episode number 120. I am your host, Amir Estimo. We appreciate you tuning in today's podcast episode because you could be doing anything in this world, but the fact that you are listening to this podcast, it is much appreciated. And I hope today's episode is of value to you. Now, this podcast is brought to you by Starville Talent Group. Okay. Now, today's episode is going to be a interesting episode. Now, if you've been listening to this podcast for a very long time, I usually it's two subjects I stay away from. One is politics and religion. In my opinion, this is my opinion, I feel like these two topics just create a lot of division. They're very divisive, and there is no clear-cut winner. So those are two topics I tend to stay away from. So anybody here who's into politics, you're probably 10 times smarter than me when it comes to that. I know what's going on, but I don't really engage much in political topics or even religious topics. Okay. But the reason I'm saying this, today's episode, at least the first part of it, has kind of a religious overtone to it. Now, if you are not religious, please just listen to the topic or the explanation. Don't focus so much on because it's religious and the Bible or whatever. This topic was inspired by my daughter. My oldest, she just turned 18 a few months ago, and she's graduating this year in 2025. And we all have been through there where we're trying to figure out our next life, what to do in our next life as we now leave and start to get ready to be in the real world. She mentioned to me and said, Dad, and she was just telling me how she felt. And she said, I don't really know what is my purpose. And she was a little down about that. And then I thought to myself, how many of us don't really even know what our purpose is, or even what is our talent that we can share with the world? Because each one of us, the Creator instilled something in us, and the job is to share it with the world before we leave this world, before we physically leave this world. For me, it's this. I don't know if any of you guys ever heard of the parable of the talents. Now, it's taken from the Bible, Matthew 25:14 through 30. So if any of you guys are very religious, this is probably a reminder, but also you could probably check it out and read it. How the story goes. There was a master that was leaving, and he was traveling. He had 3 servants, slaves, depending on what version of the Bible you're reading. He had 3 servants that he had 8 talents. So the first servant, he gave 5 talents. The second one, he gave 2 talents. And then the third one, he gave 1 talent to. Upon his return, he called his slaves over, or servants over, and then he was starting to say, questioning them. The first one he gave the first talent to, which was 5. He said, hey, how did it go? I gave you 5 talents. What did you do with your talents? The first servant says, Master, I took those 5 talents and I put them to good use, and now he doubled them. He has 10 talents. Master says, good job, you faithful servant. Then the second servant, when he gave 2 talents to, he then asked him, hey, what did you do with your talents? And the second one says, Master, I took these 2 talents, put them to use. Now I double. Now I have 4 talents. Good job, faithful servant. Since you increased the talents that I gave you, just like the first one, I will give you an abundance more. The last servant that he gave 1, the last servant took that talent and went to go hit it. So when the master asked him, he said, "Hey, what did you do with your talent?" He says, "Master, I took that talent and I took it and hid it." So the master says, "Well, why would you have the talent instead of increasing it?" He says he got afraid and he hid the talent. The master then says, basically call him out and says, "Hey, he wasn't too thrilled. I gave you one talent. At least the most you could have did was take that talent, maybe deposit it in a bank or something to that nature, and you could have grew that talent could have grew some interest. I could have received that talent back with grown interest." So basically the master kicked him out, was very disappointed. Talk about this, and I bring this up, and the reason I say this is we each have talents that we take these talents and we hide them and we don't do nothing with them. They say the richest place in the earth is the grave, because you don't know how many people passed away instead of sharing their talents with the world, took their talents and hid it, just like that last servant did not increase his talents. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should share your talents with the world. Now, if this doesn't apply to you, hey, there's always a lesson learned in every topic. If you feel today that you are someone that is struggling to try to understand what is it that you can share with this world, please listen to this. This will be interesting for you. I go on to and I say, okay, well, what are 5 talents that we can share with this world? What are these 5 talents? Because each one of us have talents that we can share. Here's 5 reasons. Here's 5 reasons why you should share your talent with the world. Number 1, you have the power to inspire others. But before we get into that, think about people, even celebrities. Michael Jordan. What if he never picked up a basketball? How many people he probably would have inspired if they just didn't even watch Michael Jordan play and says, "I want to be like Mike," and inspired them to go play basketball and change their trajectory, change their family tree, change the family generation. How many? How many times you hear some of these athletes say they were inspired because of Michael Jordan? Bob Marley is another one. What if he never picked up a guitar and started singing One Love, Three Little Birds? Okay. What if Bob Marley never did that? Michael Jackson. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. The moonwalk. How many of these artists that you've seen that were inspired because of Michael Jackson? Even Beyonce. I know not a lot of people like her and she's controversial, but still, people were inspired because of her. How many? How many people that was inspired because Beyonce inspired them to take action and now they're big. Their family tree has been changed. Their family legacy has been changed. That is why one of the reasons you should share your talent with the world. Because if you don't, what happens? No one knows. You don't know. Opportunities come to those who show up. Could you imagine if Michael Jordan, if he didn't take that basketball, practice a jump shot every night, go and lift weights, keep practicing, tried out for the basketball team, didn't make it, came back the next year, tried out again, went to the University of North Carolina, then got drafted by the Chicago Bulls. Where would he be if he did not just show up? Bob Marley, performing low level clubs, performing probably for his family, to now you go to before he passed away, you could see some. If you guys don't know who Bob Marley is, you must be living under a rock. But what if you when you go and see his concerts, there are thousands of people there to witness this man perform. If you don't show up, If you don't really go for it and show up, these opportunities will not be present to you. So you have to take it into account that these things will not happen if you just don't take action and try and share that gift. Number three, personal growth and self discovery. So the more you use your talents, the more you develop, the more you grow, the more you practice, fail, succeed. You won't get there if you don't keep, if you don't, you won't grow. You won't know who you are. You won't learn things about yourself. You won't know, okay, if I get to here, well, if I get stuck here, what do I do? I gotta keep pushing, or do I stop? These things will not happen to you if you do not share your talents with the world. Number four, your gift solves problems for someone else. What if you are born to be a doctor? What if your talent is to talk to people? What if you're born to be a motivational speaker? What if you're born to be anything? It could be even helping people with tax situations, helping women find, like, how many Jenny Craig, I think years ago, I don't know if you guys remember Jenny Craig. She had that weight loss program, fitness. She inspired people to lose weight. And you know, the funny thing now is these days, that's not as promoted anymore. You don't see it as much. Maybe there is, and I don't see it, but you just don't see it anymore because we are being glued with our phones of just nonsense that does nothing for us. It really just does not. And it's sad that we live in a world today, not to just go off on a tangent, but I'm going to get back. We live in a world today where if you look at social media, what they're promoting, women, Instagram is really big for this, and it's sad. Look at OnlyFans. These are talentless women that are on these apps, and what are they doing? Shaking their booty, doing sexual things for money. That's not talent. That is not talent. So don't get it mistaken, folks. When you see these things, I don't know. I had to go one day. I don't really be on Instagram as much. I had to go one day and look at my Instagram. Go to I think it's the For You page or whatever it is on Instagram, and looked to see. And I had to see, like, you know what? I need to change the algorithm. I had to be like, let me research LeBron James, NBA basketball, or NFL, or something like that to change the algorithm because it is sad what you see. And these are not things that solves problems for people. These are things that put people more in a situation they shouldn't be in. There's that OnlyFans girl who said she made $43 million off OnlyFans. That is sad. That is sad world we live in. One person, I think, gave her for $3 or $5 million or something like that. Really? Like, what could have $3 to $5 million done? Look at the United States, these veterans who go and fight for us. And when they come back, where are they? Sleeping under the bridge. And these are the things that we in society, we have now a false illusion about because we think we we're being so sexualized. Everything is about sex and money that we're now our minds are distorted in thinking that, oh man, these women or sex or all this stuff that's going on, that's it's a false illusion. It's not true. So think about it this way. When you are, let's say if you have a social media and you happen to see a woman, you're scrolling, a woman shaking her butt, whatever, scroll past. Figure out a way to change your algorithm because all that's do is is bringing you to a darker hole, is creating an illusion that is not real. Social media, for the most part, is not real because a lot of things you see on social media is not true. Please don't go look on social media for guess gratification, for to feel good about yourself. That's the wrong place. Legacy is built through contribution. Number five, your legacy will be built through what you contribute to this world. You know, the funny thing, and I just went on kind of on a tangent about it, it could happen good and it could happen bad. Again, going back to women who are in pornography, who are in OnlyFans and all this stuff, that's their contributor to the world. And what you put on the internet lives forever. But think about the impact. Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, Prince, even Chad Boseman. The short amount of time he lived on this planet, he passed away. These are the contribute you're going to always remember of these people, the impact they made on this world. That's what you're going to remember. That's going to be their legacy. But in your case, you may not get to that point. A Prince or Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan get to. You may not get to that point in this world. Who can you impact? What legacy can you live? Who's to say a school can't be started with your name? Who's to say that? Who's to say a school can't be started? Who's to say a university can't be in your name? Who's to say any programs can't be on your name because of the impact and the talents you shared with this world? Think of Les Brown. Think of, I forgot the other guy's name, Jim Rome. There's another guy, I forgot his name right now, but Jim Rome, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, these guys, motivation. How many people listen to these guys, and they're motivating, their lives change. Eric Thomas, these guys have become motivational speakers and they help change people's mind. Tony Robbins. I mean, I don't listen to all, but my favorite is Les Brown and Jim Rome. Those are probably the only two I really listen to. But I'm just giving you names of people. Other people may feel it's different, right? So if you don't share your talents, how can you leave a legacy in this world? You have to make that decision. Solutions, right? What are 5 solutions? Okay, you say, I'm here. Well, I share my talents. What are the 5 solutions? Well, the 5 solutions will start small and take imperfect action. Fail, 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 and fail. It's progress over perfection. That's where the world will tell you, you take action and you fail, but what do? Just keep, like, this YouTube, I mean, I'm sorry, this podcast. I know it's not the most perfect. I don't have the room and I don't have the lighting. All I have is my computer and my mic. And you may hear my AC running at times. At the end of the day, progress over perfection. Think of it for you. Let's say it's cooking. What is it that you're learning in a new language or something? What is it that you would like to do that scares you? Which leads me to number 2 solution. Reframe fear as part of the process. Fear is going to be part of the process. You're going to be scared. In that fear is not real. Fear is just a way. It's in your mind. It is. I remember when I was little, I had my dad at the time. My dad was working 2 jobs, and one night, my parents were not together. So when I was young, I had to I stayed at home. I think I was about 6 or 7, and that's the suck thing about it, right? 6 or 7 years old. So I was staying with my dad for the weekend, so I had to wait for my mom to come pick me up. So my dad left me in the house, and he left, and he would have to go to work because he got to provide, right? And we had to wait on mom because my mom wasn't going to be waiting that long. The funny thing was, I remember Freddy Krueger came on TV, and a man with claws and stuff. I was so scared, like I was scared out of my mind. As I got older, I said, what is there to be afraid of? Freddy Krueger? He's not real. There's nobody running around here with claws in their hand and, scaring people in their dreams. It's all in your mind. It's all there. That's what fear is. Number 3, focus on helping, not impressing. This is the problem with social media today. This is the world we live in. We are so focused on, instead of helping each other, we are so focused on impressing. Let me go get a car that I barely can afford, knowing I ain't making that much money, but I want to impress others instead of helping. YouTube, I like YouTube. That's probably one of the few platforms on social when it comes to social media But my gripe, I guess, for YouTube is there's too many people on there selling courses, selling an affiliate link, and they're giving you a little bit of the information. So my goal now is on YouTube is for me starting a YouTube channel is to disperse as much information as I can. I'm looking for reciprocity. Is that what he said? I'm not, I don't want to do something because everything is not always about money. Like right now, if I ask you, hey, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review. That's all like, hey, leave a review. Let me know what could I do to get better? What can I do to grow a community of people, of like-minded people? I'm still learning how to do that. And for me is that's an aspect of this I want to be able to inspire people and also hold myself accountable. So it works both ways. I help you inspire myself. So if I say I need a will and trust, guess what? Last week's podcast episode, I talked, or maybe it was 2 podcasts ago, I talked about having a will and trust. And guess what I'm doing? I set a goal. Hey, this date, I'm going to get my will and trust done. I already have a will, but I need to update it. But I always needed a trust. So that's what I'm going to do. Already got an appointment set. Boom. End of February, I should have my trust done. Will's already set. You need that. How many people that don't have that information? We don't have that information. And some of us probably know, but we're scared to do it. Again, it's fear. Number 4, solution, embrace feedback and keep learning. Again, it's going to be bad or good. Whether it's good or bad, take all the feedback you can. Don't let anybody tell you, no. If somebody tell you this and it hurts your feelings, no, it shouldn't hurt your feelings. You're starting a business. If your customer service sucks, someone comes and tell you, because if anybody tells you, oh my gosh, your customer service is awesome, and yeah, it's great and awesome, and then you say, okay, well, you're never going to improve and get better because you're going to always hear the positive. That's why it's never good for any business. If you only hear good, that's not good. It's always good to hear from both sides, and don't take it personal. 4 agreements. Read that book if you get a chance. Don't take anything personal. Number 5, build a support system where it could be family, it could be a tribe. Build a support system that will encourage you. Don't just sit in the dark by yourself. Maybe go to a meetup, maybe join Facebook group or join a group. It could be a meetup group, Facebook group, whatever. Maybe you start one, and maybe that's something I need to do. Start a group. Maybe it's just going to be me and 2 people. Who knows? But there's 2 people, that's a tribe. We're inspiring, motivating each other. That's what's lacking in today's society. We're not inspiring and we're inspiring and motivating, but there's a catch to it. Hey, sign up for this course or blah, blah, blah. And I'm not knocking anybody's hustle, but the problem is that's what it's oversaturated now. How can you stand out in this market? How? Use these 5 bullet points that I just shared with you and use it as a factor to take action today. So if you ever thought about it, if you always had it in your mind, there's something you want to do, but you were so afraid to do it, don't take it with you when you leave this earth physically. Leave it, share it with the world, and leave a legacy. If you like this episode, I'll leave you with that thought. If you like this episode today, please subscribe to the podcast, as the goal is every Wednesday, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. New content from me and Think Generational Wealth. Also, please rate and review the podcast so people can find it. Share it with someone today. Hey, I don't know if you stayed to the end of this episode, but hopefully if you did, go on my website, www.thinkgenwealth.com. You can leave a review there. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Also, Apple, Spotify, please rate and review the podcast. Please rate and review the podcast. I want to know whether it's good or bad. What can I do to make this podcast get better? Okay? So I appreciate you if you stayed to the end of this podcast and listened to me talk about But I think it's really important for us to understand why you should share your talents in this world, because there is too many untalented people out there doing things that are not not moving the needle. It's only bringing you, dragging you deeper into a rabbit hole that you should not be in. And it's sad we live in a world where someone has a positive message, 10 likes. But if I was to take my shirt off or shake my rear end, 1,000, 100,000 likes. The game is messed up, folks. And it's time that we changed it. Don't hide in the dark. Come out. Share your talents, because we need more talented people in the forefront versus these untalented people, whether it's social media, it could be even around you. You see it. But you know what? That's how the game is played today. So I appreciate you tuning in today's podcast episode. Peace, love,